Due to the fact that I have ahead of me several very important initiatives where I will need the support of the presidency, I have very high expectations. Also, because I have always heard from Germany a support for the initiatives which should uphold democracy and uphold the principle of rule of law and fundamental rights. If you count with me, we have ahead of us a rule of law report which will be finished and published in September. First ever comparison of where we are with democracy and rule of law in the member states. It will require very quick action after we publish it. So discussions with the member states, and the presidency committed itself to do that. I spoke to Minister Roth about that, and he is very keen on helping. Also, the Digital Services Act and European Democracy Action Act. These are two initiatives which should put in order our digital space, without censoring, without diminishing the freedom of speech, but promoting digital spaces as the place where there is a rule of law, where there is no space for crime distribution. And here, the cooperation with Germany, which has the law against hate speech, will be crucial, because we will also hear the practical experience. And I do not hide that for European Union we want a pan-European solution, which means that the member states should not have their specific laws, but I would like to agree on one solution, one spirit, one approach, European approach, and Germany is very important for that. And the final thing, the rule of law should be a condition for distribution of EU money. It will be discussed by the leaders already next week, and I believe that we need a strong guarantee that the states where the EU money goes is that for the benefit of the people and not for the benefit of only some. So functioning judiciary, functioning procurement system, fight against corruption should be in place in those member states. And here Germany, again, has always been supportive for this proposal, which is already some years old. And so big expectations.
About this rule of law, conditionality in the MFF, are you afraid that the European Council is going to dilute the proposal that the Commission has made?
Well, we already saw that there was such a proposal to change the voting system, and I am sharply against that, and the Commission came again with the same proposal of the reverse qualified majority, which means that you need less member states to trigger the process of stopping the money in case of need. But it will be last resort. Stopping the money is really something which I would not like to see, but we need to have in our legal order some guarantee that if things go really wrong in a member state, then the money of taxpayers cannot be paid. I think we should introduce more fairness into the system of the distribution of the money.
The German hate speech law focuses much more about removal of content and puts more obligation on the platforms to be in contact with national authorities. The Commission approach is much more to inform the user and be more transparent. How do you assess the German law from that angle? Do you think this is the solution for Europe?
I remember when Heiko Maas came with the proposal, I think it was 2017. It was already 1 year after we started the Code of Conduct, which indeed is based on more transparency and more, it's a voluntary action from the side of the platforms. And Germany came at the time when the statistical figures were really horrifying. There was such a rise of anti-Semitism and hatred against different minorities. And Heiko Maas explained, we have to do that. We cannot rely on the voluntary action. And we discussed it with the Ministers of Justice. Today we will continue the discussion. We want to take experience from Germany, and I would really like us to find pan-European solution, which will be closer to European arrangement, more transparency and more proactive action, but the protection of freedom of speech as the primary principle. And that's why today there will be a very important debate, because we have not debated that for already some time.
And what's the future of the platforms? Right now, you're working on a lot on the basis on a lot of voluntary arrangements. Do you intend to continue this, or do you foresee more rules to come?
We need more legal certainty, which also means that we need the rules which will apply for all, not only those who commit themselves to take a voluntary action out of some kind of social responsibility principle. So we would like to increase the responsibility of the platforms and transparency of what's happening in their systems. This should be covered by the Digital Services Act, which foresees legislation, but also by European Democracy Action Plan, which might be legislation relating to the electoral process and protection of elections, but also to protection of freedom of speech. We had ahead of us crucial time. I mean, the Commission, we will be preparing the consolidated approach for the EU towards digital, and we will need the member states on board. So again, very timely debate today. I'm very much looking forward to hear from the ministers.